No fun allowed.
We spending our money to build a port for them.
Yeah, it's Joe Biden's reason. We need to get humanitarian aid into Gaza. I don't think we should. I don't think any of our aid that goes to Israel to support our greatest ally, arguably maybe in the world, to defeat Hamas and Iran and Russia. And probably North Korea's in there and China too.
What?
With them and helping Hamas. We shouldn't be spending a dime on humanitarian aid. It should be like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Get it over quick.
Real music. American Congressman. Is that real? Yeah, it's real. At this point, the mask isn't even his possession. I'm guessing this guy is this is like a evangelical wing, right? Tim Wahlberg, let me see. Usually this kind of hyper-fanatical Israel is our greatest ally. Holy shit, he looks like such a f***ing nerd. Look at this guy. Oh my god. Nerd alert. Jesus Christ. Give this guy a wedgie, please. Hamas. Sleeper cell. Declare jihad in this guy's tighty-whities and pull them over his head. Give him a swirly right now. Jesus. I'm usually when American politicians are this fanatically like Israel is our greatest ally, blah blah. It's usually because they're pulling from the evangelical base. You know, the people who think that Israel needs to like get Full Metal Alchemist did to for Christians to go to heaven. Is that what we're doing? Spend time as a pastor and division manager for the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago while continuing to live in Michigan. Founded by an evangelist. God, I'm smart. Called it. Yep. There we go. Wasn't not even just appealing to evangelicals, literally worked with, yeah, evangelists, private evangelical Christian Bible college. He taught there. Yeah, okay. There we go. A Calvinist, too. Yeah, literally the worst Christians. Worse than Mormons. Got a hot take for you. Religious people shouldn't be allowed to hold public office. I think that before holding public office, you need to like read out loud and then sign or like declare on a giant document where you're explaining how much you believe in the separation of church and state. You know, I think that these Calvinists have to read from like a gigantic pamphlet on how committed they are to that. And also Calvinists just shouldn't be able to hold office. You how can you effectively lead a population of people if you believe that heaven has only so many seats and all the people who are going to get in have already been decided by God? Are you kidding me? What up incentives? At least regular Christians can like conceivably operate under the like, you know, oh well, God favors those who do his works in his name and we must do good on this earth before we are, you know, we reach the pearly gates, and oh, people still may be saved or whatever. But like, if you're a Calvinist, what the fuck are you doing? You should do a deep dive into Calvinism. No. I'm not knowing better. Not a lot in this guy. In the 2020, he defeated Driscoll a third time with 58.7% of the vote. Neat. What about 2022? In the 5th District, 2023 to present. What about that one? This dude is a birther and voted against the same-sex marriage bill, made some zany comments back in 2008. Not surprising. Though it doesn't seem his Wikipedia article. Oh, here we go. He rejects the existence of climate change. He said in 2017, I believe there's a creator in God who is much larger than us, and I'm confident that if there's a real problem, he can take care of it. Great attitude for an elected official to have, by the way. Oh, our society faces a large problem. God will take care of it. Thanks. Literally, like leave office then. What are you doing in office? He doesn't actually believe this. He just doesn't care about climate change because he thinks the rapture is happening. They're always like this. Wanted to ban same-sex marriage. Oh, he's one of those guys. On October 8th, 2023, Wahlberg gave a keynote speech at the National Prayer Breakfast in Uganda at the invitation of Ugandan legislator David Bahati. Wahlberg's trip to Uganda was paid for by The Fellowship, which sponsored the breakfast. During his speech, Wahlberg urged Uganda to stand firm against international pressure to change you, apparently referencing sanctions by the U.S. government against Uganda over the recently enacted Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023, which prescribes lengthy prison sentences and, in certain instances, the death penalty for homosexual activities. Worthless, for instance, is the thought of the World Bank or the World Health Organization or the United Nations, or, sadly, some in our administration in America who say, you are wrong for standing for values that God created. For there are male and female and God created them, said Wahlberg. Bahati, the original sponsor of the Anti-Homosexuality Act, stated that Wahlberg had told him Uganda is on the right side of God when he asked Wahlberg if he were comfortable associating with Bahati. Wahlberg additionally praised Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni, who spoke at the breakfast and who signed the Anti-Homosexuality Act into law. Phenomenal stuff. Wait, why is this guy important? Please pay attention. He's a congressman, a sitting congressman, who said that we should nuke Gaza. I think he believes the things he says. I think he's just a demon. He might just be a demon, yeah. Oh, and here's the Nuking comment right here. Wahlberg also opposes humanitarian aid to Ukraine. Quote, instead of 80% in Ukraine being used for humanitarian purposes, it should be 80 to 100% to wipe out Russia if that's what we want to do. Oh, that's an interesting position that doesn't get a lot of air. I reject humanitarian aid to Ukraine so we can provide more military aid to Ukraine. That's some real soldier of God shit right there. Okay, yeah, all right. A Posadist? It's not a joke. People like this believe that the rapture is coming now. People like this believe that the world is ending now. That's the reason why he doesn't care about climate change. He believes it's happening. They all know it's happening. A lot of them just believe that it's God's will to end the earth, that it's the foretelling of the rapture, you know? That all of the biblical prophecies of the world ending and Christ's return to earth are being sort of like set in. They believe in climate change, but they don't believe in anthropogenic climate change. They don't think humans are doing it. They think God is doing it to foretell Christ's arrival. Yeah, as written. It's so war with Russia, he doesn't care. The world is ending. Christ is coming. It doesn't matter. People like this are death cultists. I like, unironically, whatever, like, if you can imagine some evil fantasy universe or science fiction race of people that are just like comically committed to doing evil and harm, these people are that in real life, and they're no different. Okay, we are pulling from reality here. All right, art is reality. They are death cultists. That's why he's so pro-Israel, by the way, because when the rapture happens, one of the precursors is that the Israelites need to hold their Holy Land. Wouldn't they go to hell for trying to end the world? No, they think they think the world is ending. The rapture is happening. That's why he's so pro-Israel. Again, he thinks that Israel wants to occupy the Holy Land. And by the way, Israel does want that. He thinks that God wants that as well. And by the way, the Holy Land includes the Gaza Strip. That's a greater Israel thing. So there are like lunatics like this who support Israel in like greater war in the Middle East because that would allow the Israelites to control their historical territory. And yes, as is always the case, we have a kind of like phrenological determinism where this guy does also look like a demon, you know? Yes, doomsday accelerationism, exactly. The most bizarre part of the support for Israel from these nut jobs is that they don't even believe Jews are going to go to heaven. Well, no, it's the Jews are sacrificial so that the Christians may go to heaven in the rapture. Yeah. No, the Jews go to the heaven with the Christians afterwards. Nope, that's not the popularly accepted belief. There are some Christians who say that, but I think they're lying. I think that a lot of them don't believe that. You know, the Jews are non-believers, right? They don't believe that you know that phrase, like the way to heaven is through Jesus Christ? They don't believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God. You know, there's no getting around that. It's, you know, most Christians believe the Jews are going to hell. They say the Jews will get a chance to convert. Yeah, well, everyone does, right? Or at least a lot of people do. Like Christians believe in a lot of cases that you can like repent and convert on your deathbed and go to heaven, depending on the sect and who you're talking to. So like, that's the argument. Jews will go to hell, but you know, they can always convert in the rapture, right? Just a Catholic thing. Again, it's not like any of this is real. It varies from person to person. Technically, Jesus comes down and wins a war, and then the idea is that the Jews would accept him as the Messiah upon his second coming. Yeah, I think that's like the nice version that Christians say because they don't want to stir up too much of a fuss, especially with the whole Israeli relations thing. I don't care much in religion. Why would he want to nuke Gaza if the rapture's already happening? Because the rapture can't happen unless the Israelites control their historical territory again, which includes the Gaza Strip. I grew up Pentecostal, and I swear almost half the sermons were about the end times. Christians have always believed that they're living in the end times. Seriously, you can go through the historical records. A significant portion of Christian literature from every era Christianity has been around has been about how the world was ending soon, you know? Like, constantly. Most of the spin-off American branches of Christianity are from people who were doomsday cultists. Like, they predicted that the world was going to end on a certain date, and then it didn't, obviously. And they were like, oh, well, what about this? And then it became then its own branch. This keeps happening over and over. Christianity is sick. There's a sickness in Christianity that I don't think is present in Judaism or Islam. Obviously, radical Islamism does lead to some bad outcomes, you may have noticed if you look at radical Islamists. But that particular branch of like constant doomsday prophesizing, that is, it's a very Christian thing, which is weird, again, because predicting the date of the rapture is itself heresy. You're not supposed, you can't do that. No man but God, or none but God may know the date of his return. You're not allowed, like you shouldn't. The Bible does not allow for that, but they do it anyway, not like anyone gives a shit. So at Christianity's core is human sacrifice. Yeah, not to bring it back to the subject of the last stream, but this is something that Nietzsche also criticized heavily about Christianity, that it was all about like weakness and self-sacrifice. And there were a lot of like negative social externalities to that you wouldn't see in something like, say, the Nordic pagan religion, right? If your belief about the gods is as simple as, yeah, the gods are all dickheads and they're up there might be a doomsday one day, but till then we're going to fight for it, you're more likely to live a life of like strength and valor because you think you're fighting for your claim in a world that was like built for your heroism. Whereas like the most you can ever hope for in Christianity is to be a good submissive lamb under the arm of Christ. You're wrong about Islam. They have end-time beliefs too. No, I know they do. I'm saying that they don't have the same obsession with constantly like describing the end time. Like the fact that the most radical Islamists are constantly trying to like recreate a caliphate is evidence that they don't think the world is ending now. Christians keep thinking it's ending now, To be fair, even Odin engaged in self-sacrifice to gain more knowledge. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Listen to what I'm saying, please. You're just trying to find any connection, a thing you can say. What does that have to do with anything I'm saying? It just makes me think you're not listening. He sacrifices I, not his child. Even if he sacrificed child, that wouldn't be the point. That's not the point. I don't follow. If he said global warming is the beginning of the rapture, why would he want the Jews to have greater Israel, to have rapture times 2? No. The point, the idea would be that the world is ending and he wants to fulfill the preconditions for the rapture as it's ending. He wants to fulfill the prophecy of the rapture. Otherwise, the world just continues to get worse and worse and Christ doesn't return. Chat, you are confused because it's fake. Yeah, don't come to me with this. Why are you bothering me with this,